Okay, so right. Here's my widget file. I'm gonna. Oh, for some reason, it's still not converted to a zip. Anyway, let's rename it. So that it's a zip. You know how to do that. And then let's open it up. So there's the source. Okay, and of course this stuff. So let's extract all of these files. So that's going to extract onto the desktop in a second. So right, okay. So here we go. So we're now. The only difference between the Opera widgets and the W3C widgets is in the config file. So if you change the config file, the widgets will work in a W3C way. So what I want to do here is I'm going to open the config file with Notepad. So here's your Opera widget file. Now I do have an example of how it should look if it's a W3C widget. And if you go onto the W3C page, you'll be able to see this. But I'm sure I've got it here. Actually, maybe I don't. Maybe there's a climate change one that I can use. Yeah. And so I'm just using this as a as an example of this is what the config file should look like.
Oh, I saw things like the height, width.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put that on one side and this on the other, and basically I've got to make them look the same. The main thing is that in the W3C widget, in the Opera widget, there's stuff like width and height and author, which is outside the
widget tag.
Yeah, that's right. So what we've got to do is we've got to put those things within the widget tag here. So and network we don't have, and we've got to make sure that we've got the namespace. So
but does it? There are problems with Ajax that it does not allow cross domain. Will it cause problems? So I don't put.
Well, it depends. It depends on the widget. Wookie can cope with some of that because it has a thing called a whitelist, and so it proxies any Ajax calls to outside services through the whitelist. I'm not. Are you actually using any Ajax calls in your code?
It is to the main server on the system.
But you're doing that through an XML HTTP request, are you?
Yes,
you are.
XML.
Okay, well let's. I mean, we can cross that bridge when we come to it as well. But that's good. That's a good thing to do. So I'm literally going to copy this stuff to. So it's got its ID here, and then the height and width. So I'm just going to paste that in and change this name. What are we calling it? What's your widget called?
Online assessment.
Online assessment. There we are. And how big is it? It's 500 by 300. 300. Okay. And that's the name. Description, that's fine. Let's get rid of those.
But why is Opera choosing how they do their thing?
Well, they're all slightly different. I mean, all of the widget technologies are slightly different, but they're all pretty much, I say they're slightly different. Fundamentally, fundamentally, they're the same. I think that's it. That's all I need. So that's now converted it into a W3C widget. Now the latest version of Opera will still load that as an Opera widget. Okay, so the latest version of Opera widgets will still load this as an Opera widget. I might try and prove that in a second. But the main thing about having it as a W3C widget is that Christ, did I just check? I did that right. Want to do that? Ah dear. Source. Just make sure that I did do it correctly. So here's the config, just check, open with notepad. Yeah, that's correct. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to package this up. Trial presumably is your questions, is it?
It can be deleted. It's not even.
Is this not your questions?
It is.
You can delete it. Oh, I see. Well, that's okay. There are some other standards that you might want to look at. I mean,
What other standard?
well, there's a standard called QTI, which I think I mentioned to you before because you were interested in tests. And QTI is called Question Test Interoperability, and it's an XML standard for quizzes. Alright? The other standard that I think is perhaps equally important, if not more important, is the Xforms standard, which is not Xforms.
What does that do?
Xforms is a way of specifying forms which work with XML on the web, and it's a standard, so it works across a number of different platforms.
Okay, is it what is going to make them show up as forms? Is it through some technology?
Yeah. The original idea of Xforms was that it would be natively supported by browsers. That hasn't happened. It only works actually in Firefox has a plugin that will display Xforms data as an Xform. However, there's been a whole spate of server-side implementations of Xforms. I'll come to Wookie in a minute. And the one I've been using recently is called Betterform. Betterform. I wouldn't get stuck into this because it's another project actually in itself, but basically it is these are XML-based forms. So if we go to, and you can, this is all new, so they're obviously doing something. This is it's all open source. And if I click on the demo, you can see the sorts of forms that they've got. So let's have a look at the Feature Explorer.
Must be using XSLT and
yeah, it's using all sorts. It's using Dojo JavaScript library to do the graphics and everything. And you can see the different controls. Quite like the sliders. So you know, basic form sliders there, different checkboxes, and basically when you select the options, it just spits out an XML file related to the form that's been specified. So you get the whole sort of XML output, which you can just save off. And, I developed something. I mean, it wasn't a great thing, but did something here. Well, actually, I'll just show you it. Oh, except it's not going to work because I'm not running my engine. Never mind. Well, I can't show you right now, but don't think no. Yeah, I mean it is quite good. It is quite a good thing. So have a look at Xforms. Have a look at Betterform, because Betterform seems to be the big. It's a server-side implementation of Xforms, but it's nice. It works. And you see what they're interested in doing is they're interested in a fully XML-based architecture. So XML not just at the front end and in the middle, but also at the back. So they're playing with an XML database, which means that there's no translation between, you do your query, you specify your query in XML, the XML goes, talks to the XML database, the data comes back. Everything's in that data stream. Anyway, so that's something else that you might be interested in. Right, so let's look at this widget that you've got, and I'll show you how we can. I'm going to package this up. So take all the files and send to a zip file. So this is my changed WGT file. Except for Wookie's purposes, it doesn't actually need to be a WGT file.
It can be a zip.
It can be a zip. Now I've got an instance of Wookie running here. It's worth you getting Wookie installed. It will run quite easily on Windows now. If you go to the Wookie site, there's a straightforward Windows download that will work. And if I'm just going to go to the administration menu. I'm going to log in, and I'm going to add a new widget. Okay, and I choose a file, and the file, where is it? It's on my desktop. Desktop and source. New widget. Okay, and I'll just say publish. Give it a second. In it goes. There are no mistakes, so it's recognised it as a W3C widget. I can give it a tag, and there it is. Now I can test it by just going back to the Wookie homepage there, view widget gallery, and hopefully there's your widget there. Okay. Now I can actually click on the demo.
The database won't work because I've not set it up for other systems. It's only working with my local host.
Yes, no, I realise that. So it's not going to work because you've not got anything sitting behind it. But you can see that I've got the basic HTML there, and all it won't do is do anything with that submit button. But if your online service was working on the web, there wouldn't be a problem. Okay. Now the nice thing about this, of course, is that you can start to embed these in lots of different contexts. So I can show you what we can do with, for example, the Moodle. You've got to remember, you know, people doing quizzes, doing online tests, they're working across lots and lots of different platforms, and that's actually a real problem for the interoperability of questionnaires and tests and that sort of thing. And if there is a Wookie-based solution, if there's a widget-based solution where you can just pull in a quiz widget that's universal, it doesn't matter what platform you're using, that's really cool. Alright? So, I don't know which one of these we should choose, but let's go in here. Some of these don't work because the so here's a widget, for example. It's quite a nice one. Having got my having got that quiz widget in the Wookie here. This is going to confuse you slightly because these are different. But there's my widget gallery. Okay, here's my widget gallery, and there's the widget that I've just added for you. This is effectively, whoops, not that one, where is it? This is effectively is the same thing. So I'm clicking on change that widget. There's another widget gallery. It's not pointing at the same one that you've changed, but it could be, and if it was, I could just scroll down here and choose the widget that you wanted, and there's your quiz, and it will work, and it doesn't matter what platform you're in. So I think you've done enough technical work. It's not great, but it's not the point. The point is explaining to people now why this is good. Do you understand?
I understand.
Right, so I think the best thing for you to do is to start writing and drawing some diagrams as to the architecture of this thing. You need to get Wookie working. So you need to get Wookie work. I suggest you get Wookie working on there, and you could also do with installing an instance of Moodle.
Sorry, how do I don't know how.
Yeah, this will do. And then download and quick start. And then Apache Wookie. Right, these are the standalones. Download the zip from any of these. Livid penguin. Where's the livid penguin mirror? Okay, so there it is, it's coming down. It will just take a while. But just unzip that, and it will come with it runs off Jetty, which is a Java a web container thing,
But to
like
work,
like Tomcat.
okay, Apache Tomcat.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Jetty's different, and you basically just start the thing as a service,
Okay, I need
and
to-
then just follow the instructions, browse to the page, and you'll be able to do exactly what I've just done here. So you change your widget, change your XML config, so that it's a W3C one, upload the widget, and then you can do the demo. And with any luck, it'll be able to see, because everything's running locally, it'll be able to see your local service. That's very good.
Moodle. How do I get to download the Moodle